Hi and welcome to the Adelaide Horror Podcast. This is your host Zombie Joe. Today's episode is 18 and I'm going to be looking at camping horror. So I'm going to be checking out season 9 of 1984 American Horror Story, and which is the love letter pretty much, and it gives a lot of nods towards The Burning and Friday the 13th and also Sleepaway Camp. So I'm going to be giving some horrible mentions to The Burning and Sleepaway Camp in this episode today. Cool. So before I get cracking into that, as some have noticed, I've been away for like nearly 6 weeks since the last episode. Just a combination of stuff. One, I want a little bit of a break, but then when I got back to sitting down and actually wanting to do a show, unlike the Mick Jagger song, Time's Always on My Side, freaking no, it wasn't. It was a complete see you next Tuesday, and every time I went to sit down and do something happened. At the moment, internet's crap in the crypt. I don't know, one of the zombies on top shuffled around, kicked the cable and snapped it, so now we're getting our internet fixed in the crypt, so it's been causing some issues for us, but we're going to get there and get it fixed, so cool. So yes, like I said, it gave me a bit of free time to shuffle around outside of the crypt, and so yeah, one order of business was I went and checked out. I listened to recently a podcast called Dave's Video Graveyard. You can find them on WOW FM 100.5. Very, very funny. Like, very, very funny. I've been listening to them to and from work, and yeah, I tell you, it's what I need after a bit of a de-stress. Covering some horror films, also just a lot of other 90s nostalgia, and yeah, can now no longer listen to Broken Wings anymore without cracking up. I have a decent Spotify 80s list. I had to remove Broken Wings out of that list, because every time I fucking listen to it, it just gets dirty really quick, and I'm just like, nah, it's gone. So, quite funny. But yeah, great show. Definitely listen to them on Spotify, and also where you get, your podcasting kind of streaming services from. So yeah, definitely give them a check out. Also, yeah, on the radio station as well. If you go to the website, WOW FM, so it stands for Way Out West FM. You go on the website, Google it. I think overseas you'll be able to listen to it as well. There's a program on there. Dave's show is on Monday nights, I think 8 o'clock. So yeah, definitely check it out. I've been listening to the show via the podcasts. So yeah, but definitely going to the radio station, support the radio. I subscribed, became a member. So yeah, that money will help them out. So yeah, definitely, if you get a chance and you're in Adelaide, you want to support a local kind of broadcaster, yeah, that would be the way to go. So on the actually no, I'll still keep it going local until I go over the Shees. Went down, well, surprise, I had a fucking day off. Yeah, so I had the little zombie with me, and we went walking through the big city, and thought, you know what, I'm going to go down, I'm going to check out Greenlight Comics, because it has been a long time since I've managed to get my ass in there. Anyway, went down, met Sarah. Dan wasn't there. Dan is the co-owner and also the co-host with Jen of a podcast called TerrorVision, which is really, really good. I've been listening to them as well. So if you listen to this, you haven't heard, get on Spotify, check them out. Spotify, I should say. And yeah, definitely check them out. Support the episodes as well. It's been really, really good. Very funny. And yeah, the takes on listening to these movies more in depth is really good, and I really dig it as well. So definitely check them out. So I went in there and I bought this, which is the graphic novel that I've been massively hanging out for. And now 2 is on its way, so I'll be definitely can't wait for that when that comes out. So that's a bit of a read for me. I've got my upcoming annual leave happening, so I'm massively hanging out. So I'm going to be reading that for sure. Excuse me. So yeah, definitely go down or go online, become a member and subscribe, and then that way you can You can do online purchases as well if you can't come into the city, but you want to support the business. Go online, buy the books, support a good business. So, and then definitely check out TerraVision on podcast as well. In the meantime, I came across Troy Mundy's book, Dead Adelaide, on Instagram. So contacted him. Upcoming episode of Zombie Bite, I will be talking with him about this book. So this is a zombie novel set in Adelaide. So I thought, hey, get on it. So I've got a couple of copies from Troy. So if you're interested, after the interview, I'm more than happy. I've got two copies, but I'll see what I can do. If you're interested and I need some more, I'll let you know. So, but yeah, definitely looking forward to talking to Troy about that. So there you go. Also, in the meantime, I got In Search for Darkness 2. The pack came out from America, so this is the international news now. So I managed to, just excuse the side of my face, I'm talking away from the microphone, if I can, So initially, the first one of this horror doco is In Search for Darkness 1. This is what came out with the pack as a Blu-ray. I originally bought the DVD with that, and then what I've done is the postcard that came with it. I put that on top, which I think is an awesome postcard. It's the reason why I did that is because I clicked the wrong thing and ended up getting the Corey Taylor edition. Not that I've got anything against Corey Taylor. This is the lead singer of Slipknot, but I just dug that cover more, the postcard. Like I said, I clicked the wrong thing in ordering, and that would have been a massive poster, and I got the postcard instead, and I put my name down for the credits and didn't get it, so it doesn't matter. But so when I ordered number 2, In Search for Darkness, I got my name in the credits. It comes out in this really cool kind of crunchy looking VHS cover. And the DVD's inside. You get a collector's badge as well, so that's looking pretty sweet. You get also chucked in the first one of this. If you have Shudder, it's already on there. So number 1's already on there, so you can go and check them out on Shudder. But it comes out with these absolutely epic posters. There's this one here. There is this one here, and there's this one here. So very, very cool. I really dig them. I'm on the look for the original Search for Darkness 1 poster. So I want to get that framed, and then eventually when we move out of the crypt and get another crypt, and I can get a study in that crypt, these bad boys are all getting framed. So yes, and I'll have a bit of a better display than in here. So yeah, there you go. Also continuing on with international news. Now, the very first horror podcast that I listened to that inspired me to get out there and podcast was Bloody Good Horror. Now, they've been around for over a decade, and so funnily enough, the bit of the segue for this is because the original imagery for their design for Bloody Good Horror was actually the microphone with the shears sticking up, which is the Burning, the famous silhouette for the Burning, which was the logo for their show, and it was 2 mics together as gun shears, which I thought was really, really cool design. They have a collection of merchandise that they sell. Partly goes to them, partly charity. And so someone came up with this kicker design. I fucking love it. Like there's that. I got the coffee mug up here, and just excuse me, professionalism at its best. I bought the t-shirt. the color t-shirt, so I'm going to be walking around with that bad boy. Not at work. I wish I could, but no. That's it. And yeah, this one here, ready for winter. Now that winter's coming in Australia. Anyway, we're autumn and it's still fucking 30 degrees. So I don't know when that's going to happen. But Australia being as it is weather-wise, it'll get cold eventually. But so those jumpers are going to come in handy then, and I'll be able to be a bit of a talking point when I'm walking down the street, and they go, "What's that?" And I say, "It's Bloody Good Horror. Check them out. They're a fantastic podcast. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard of them yet, get on BGH. There's back episodes, Patreon. Absolutely, yeah. The knowledge, the horror knowledge of this team that's on the show and is phenomenal. Really, really good. And humor as well, so it's a great mix and definitely a good listen. So probably my advice to you is don't listen to Bloody Good Horror and exercise. I tried to do that once and not a good idea, because with the humor you start laughing on the fucking treadmill. It doesn't go down well, and I nearly had a stack. So yeah, there's I've learned not to exercise listening to these guys. So yeah, preferably when you're driving in the car or sitting around, definitely give them a listen. So cool. That's kind of a little promo corner that I had. Moving on to the business of the show. So anyway, so the episode 18 is American Horror Story. Now, it's gone on for 10 years, and I was like, shit, I didn't realise, and I thought, wow, there you go. So when we got to season 9, I was like, wow, it's been like, I don't have cable. So initially, for me to watch American Horror Story, it was on one of the digital channels, and it was shown really late at night. It was like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock on one of the digital channels. So I used to record them and watch them and got them into it that way. Kind of missed season 1 of American Horror Story here and there, but then managed to get into it when they did Coven. That was really good, and I enjoyed Hostel. That was really good. And yeah, a couple slipped through the radar because they weren't getting shown on cable, on the digital TV anymore. It was like on cable. I don't have cable, so I kind of missed out on them. They were available on DVD, but because I hadn't seen them, I didn't want to invest in buying the DVD if I hadn't watched it. So, a couple of years went by where, American Horror Story kind of didn't really get a look in with me. But then I got the news about 1984, and it really pricked my interest. And I said, this is the one that I am very keen on checking out on. It's the nod to the 80s slasher. It's got to be good. I mean, if you add all the episodes together, it's 6 hours. And I'm thinking, this is gold. And being American Horror Story, it's going to take creative license to real life people or an event, and then do their little twist and turn on it. And boy, oh boy, did they chuck some turns and some twists and some new characters, and really, really, really phenomenal. So definite recommend. The only way I managed to watch this was on binge. And so if you don't want to do that, you can wait for it to come out on DVD. I researched it. It's going to be a while, but it's coming out this year on DVD, so you can kind of hang out and watch it then. You won't be disappointed. Gore wise, I reckon very, very good. There's a pretty decent disembowelment in this one, and I had to. It takes a lot for me to pause it and then go back and then look at it and go, fuck. They did. I'm not okay. I don't want to spoil it. I'm a bit funny about doing that, but holy shit! The aftermath of this disembowelment was nuts. It was ball to the wall. fantastic effects, and just man, I'm just really impressed with how they've done it and being strung up. And I was like, fuck, that is one, that would be a horrible way to go. But two, I was thinking, holy, like to come up with that is just phenomenal. This show just doesn't seem like, after 10 years, you'd be thinking, okay, it's getting a bit like, get out the WD-40, it's getting a bit squeaky. But like, no, not at all, not at all. They're kicking goals and they're doing well. So definitely impressed with that scene. And some other scenes as well. So the gore factor in it is very high and not disappointing whatsoever. It kind of, I don't know, there's a couple of, this is a bit of a landmine, because if you start going into the thing, you start spoiling it, and I don't want to spoil it, so that's kind of my thing here on the show. So there's a couple of character reveals in this one. One is pretty decent and strong. The other one's a little bit weak, and it redeems itself by the last couple of episodes. So when you're watching this and you're thinking, hang in there, because it really, no, there's no episodes. What I mean by that is, you know how you get a show and there's a couple of episodes and they're a bit shit and they're the filler. You don't get a filler episode in this one. Each episode will have you going, what? Like, through most of it. It really picks the pace up, and then you get to the end and you kind of bummed that it's finished. Like, you really wanted it to keep going. Like, it was really good. So it ends well, but you just kind of, because you're so used to having this fantastic episode, you're kind of like, oh, it's kind of like, when school holidays finish, you're kind of like, oh, I've got to go back, So that's, you'll really enjoy it. You'll really enjoy the show. They've got, like I said, American Horror Story. They've got the regular rostered team on kind of characters, actors and actresses on this one. Kathy Bates gets benched on this one. She's, I think, probably recuperating. She's, I don't know if she's torn a hammy, but like she was in the couple of the first other two before this. So they were just, I think, kind of benching Kathy, and now she's back for season 10. So good that Kathy's back. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see her. It was written, so it's directed by Bradley Becker, and written by Ryan Murphy, Brad Falchuk. Now, that's what I'm going with. Probably butchered those surnames, and I do apologise. Emma Roberts comes back as Brie Thompson. Billy Lord, who's the daughter of Kate Fisher, is Montana Duke. Cody Fern, the Australian actor, like, mate, I tell you what, this guy's bloody speech coach is phenomenal. Like, I didn't even know this guy was an Aussie until I looked up the stuff, and I went, shit, he's from Western Australia. He's got his acting thing with the late Heath Ledger. He got in with the scholarship, and got in to acting that way through the scholarship, and then went to LA and has managed to just do extraordinarily well for himself, and has managed to now get the gig on American Horror Story. So I'm currently watching American Horror Story Apocalypse, and he's on it as the kind of the Antichrist character warlock. It really, mate, but the accent, you just like, there's no, like, I thought it was really well done. He's a phenomenal actor, phenomenal actor. So I really liked him in this, and so he plays Xavier. You got Gus Kentworthy, who's from the UK, and he plays Chet. So there's another, good voice acting voice coach. Did a fantastic job with him, because I didn't even know it was from the UK. Did a phenomenal job with his American accent. Then you've got Deron Horton, who plays Ray Powell, and then you've got Peter Whitrock, who plays Bobby. And he's been in a few other seasons of American Horror, a Freak Show. He was in that. Played a bit of a nasty pasty in that one. But it's good. He's a good guy in this one. So there you go. And that's what I like about American Horror Story, where you have one season where the dude or the dudette is completely a nasty pasty, and then you get them and they change their role again. Like they're really nice. And you're just like, well, shit. Like it kind of freak, especially when they're really bad in the first one, and then in the second season or third season of American Horror Story, they're really good. And you're thinking, it shows how good of an actor and actress they are. So that's great. For the adults, so they were the young people, and then you got your adults. So you got Lily Rabe, who plays the mum in a sequence from 1948. You've got Matthew Morrison, who's the guy from Glee. He plays Trevor. Angelica Ross is Nurse Rita. Zach Villa plays Richard Ramirez as the Night Stalker. And Leslie Grossman plays Margaret Booth. And John Carroll Lynch, who's Mr. Jingles. So John Carroll Lynch, you'd know the guy, well, everyone that's kind of my age and a little bit older would remember the Drew Carey show. He was on it and played Drew Carey's transgender brother in that. Zach Villa does a really good version of Richard Ramirez. Now, I was kind of watching and I thought, I know there's a bloody AHS where they had the Night Stalker on it. And then it twigged and it was like it was Hostel, which is the Hotel Cecil. So funnily enough, the one character linked in with two Netflix docos, one on the Hotel Cecil, one on the Night Stalker. So there's one episode of American Horror Story Hostel where it was the Devil's Night and all the serial killers were in one room. So you got John Wayne Gacy, Eileen, played by Lily Rabe, who fucking looked exactly like her. Like it just creeped the shit out of me. Like the dirty teeth, the hair, like the phenomenal makeup, and the character acting. It's just, that's why I really like American Horror Story. A lot of people, I don't know, like some people are really on its case, and I'm thinking, nah, man, to come out each year for 10 years with a storyline, it's not bad, and it's given a lot of other people a bit of a leg up in acting. So, you know, Lady Gaga kind of did her stint with that and then went on to do her little bloody musical movie. So it's a quite good show for that reason. And yeah, so this, I don't know the name of the actor now that played Richard Ramirez in that episode, but I remembered him and I thought, hang on, he didn't play the same guy. Like there's another guy that's playing Richard Ramirez, and that's now Zach Villa. And Zach Villa does a really good job as Ramirez. Like, because when I went back and watched Hostel on purpose to see the Night Stalker in that one, I kind of compared the pair and I went, nah, Villa's got it. Like, he's got it hands down. Like, he's done it really, really well. And I don't know if that's because of recently the Night Stalker doco and he was able to kind of research the role a bit better. But, yeah, there's distinct real-life photos of the piece of shit that is Richard Ramirez with his hair and the sunglasses in court. And Zach Villa does that spot on. Like he's got it spot on. So the casting for him this time around was really well done. And then and then you got Angelica Ross, who's did a really good job and also represents the transgender actresses. So well done to Angelica on that, and did a really good, sinister, yet you get to learn to understand her character throughout the episode. So phenomenal episode, actress there. So basically the rundown of this is it's 1984, the summer in LA, the peak of the Night Stalker. So this is kind of the side story that's going on at the same time. And this is the funny thing about AHS is you got multiple kind of stories all happening at the one time, but it all kind of bleeds into this one kind of thing. And so you've got it's 84 Camp Redwood. That's where we're at, and Camp Redwood already has a reputation as being a nasty place because there was a Friday the 13th style massacre that occurred with the councillors, and that's your kind of nod to Friday the 13th. There is another one later on. I'm not going to talk about it. I want you to experience that because it comes out of nowhere, and it makes you jump, and you think, oh damn, that is a sensational nod to Friday the 13th. It was brilliant. And so the young people, Emma Roberts, so Brooke, Montana, Xavier, Chet, Ray, and yeah, that's who you meet at the start. On a chance that they're all in the gym, because the other thing in the 80s was gyms were a huge thing at that time. Also, Toxic Avenger. When I talked about an episode of Toxic Avenger, they shot Toxic Avenger because the two main things at the time was pollution in America. That was a really nasty problem, and also the rise of the health clubs. The gyms were massive. Aerobics was huge. So in '84, in AHS '84, it's of course it's they're all meeting at a gym, all working out, all the hot little girls and guys, all with their little spandex on, doing their aerobics. And they kind of, play around with this image for a bit. And then it turns out that these guys have all got a job at this Camp Redwood, and they're getting out of LA over summer because these attacks, these random attacks by the Night Stalker is starting to occur, and it's freaking her out a bit. And so Brooke Thompson, played by Emma Roberts, she's freaked out because she's had been attacked before, and she's had a pretty nasty. Her character storyline leading up to this has had some nasty occurrences have happened to her. So, long story short, she gets attacked, and she's like, "No, I'm with you guys. I'm going to this Camp Redwood trip with you guys to be safe in a group of people." And so off they went to Camp Redwood, and in the style of a lot of things, you have the doomsday kind of warning from the gas station attendant or the servo operator here in here in Australia. It's these scenes kind of make me laugh because I'm thinking if something like this happened in Australia, we all pulled over. We went to the servo, and you don't have a guy come out pumping the petrol. It just won't happen. It used to when I was a kid. I remember that, but now it's long gone. That doesn't happen anymore. But it'd be hilarious if the guy comes out and he's like, while he's filling up the car, he go, "Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you go up to this place, you're dead." Everyone would just go, "Get fucked." There's just no way the servo guy would come out and pre-warn you about this ending doom thing that had happened. Everyone would just tell him to get fucked. So I always kind of find that scene hilarious because it just wouldn't happen in Australia. Or it'd end badly for the servo attendant anyway. You'd get a tirade of abuse. You'd probably get punched as well. So anyway, so he gives the cliche kind of warning, and yeah, it is a cliche, but you're expecting that because this, if you go into this thinking it's not going to give nods to slashers, yeah, I don't know, you kind of missed the point. You know that this is going to be a massive love letter, massive nods, massive cliches to all these kind of horror slasher events. So he does that, and they go to Camp Redwood, and they meet the counsellor, and played by Leslie Grossman, and she's like this intense jumping for Jesus clapper, and so already there's tension between the young people and the counsellor that's running this camp already. So there's it's not a great way to start, but yeah, there's already tension between the group, and then kind of kicks off. and then the killing starts, and everyone starts getting picked off, and it's this kind of who's next, who's doing it, oh my god, it's him, no, it's not them, oh my god, it was them, no, it's not them, like it. So for the next, I think 6 or 7 episodes, you're just kind of like, fuck, like, because the plot twisting through this is phenomenal, like phenomenal. It is really, really good. So, like I said, unfortunately, you're either going to have to wait for DVD. If you can't wait, I'm pretty sure if you go free trial with Binge, you can get in and you can just quickly get it done and then, pull out when you've finished watching 1984. I don't know. But you'd like the streaming. There's some good stuff in there, so, you might as well hang around for the price. It's pretty good. It's got all the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. It's got all these other horror shows, so I'm kind of hanging around to watch it through that because there's no other way I can watch it. So it's just the way it is now, like with the streaming stuff. So, yeah. So like I said, insane plot twists. Gets to the real business end of the episodes, and you're just thinking, what? Like, and it ended fantastic, and it was really, really good. So definitely, look, if you can hang out, great. If you can't, go out and binge it. That's all I'm going to say. So moving on to that, like I said, in 84, it gives some pretty decent nods to the burning, and it does a nod to Sleepaway Camp. So that's why I'm going to start talking about these two movies. The interesting thing about so let's look at the burning, right? Now, like I said before, the burning for me I was late to the party for the burning, and also for Sleepaway Camp. I remember distinctly the 2 VHS covers and posters for these films as a kid going into the video shop. I didn't get to watch these films until I was in maybe my mid-20s, when I went to hire them from the video shop. The reason why I was late to the game on this one, kind of like Blood Diner, was that you'd go into your video DVD shop with the distinct purpose of hiring it, and then, like bloody Dory from Finding Nemo, I'd get distracted, and I'd go and hire something else. Something else would take them off. Oh, this came out. And I'd always get sidetracked, and so it gets bumped down the list, bumped down the watch list, to the point where it was years and years, and I thought, shit, I still haven't seen The Burning, and so it's just unintentional. And then you pop it on, and you're just like, fuck, why didn't I watch this before? And you're just blown away by it. Later down the track, many years later, you're watching The Burning, and you're just like, your jaw's to the floor. And I'm thinking, this movie didn't get the credit that it deserves, right? It really doesn't. This is an amazing slasher film, and it seems to still not get the light of day. Even now with horror fans saying The Burning, check The Burning, it's still not getting that leg up. Everyone still is kind of like, oh, Friday the 13th, that's your camp horror film. That's it. That's the horror camping film. And they're not looking at the other possibilities or the runners up to these shows. And this is a close first as well for me personally, is The Burning. It's Friday the 13th one and The Burning. That's how the two sit in that. They share the first place, and then Sleepaway Camp second after that. So, because if you divvy up the Friday the 13th, it's really, you're looking at, say, Friday the 13th 1 to 5, really, because then he starts going into space, and it all starts going everywhere, and it really doesn't stick to that Camp Crystal Lake area. Like if you really want the Camp Crystal Lake terror and all that, you watch 1 to 5. So The Burning is a huge cast. Like it's amazing. Like it goes for an hour and a half, and so for the first about 50 minutes, it's this character building, right? So you're introduced to all these young people, right? And by most parts, you like them. There's Glazer, played by Larry Joshua, right? He's kind of the jock. He's kind of okay. He's kind of a dick, and he's muscular. He's almost like toxic masculine to a point. You know, he's kind of overdoing his masculinity a little bit. So you're kind of going, like, what's he covering? But he really fucking does not like. I've got his. Just excuse me for a sec. Alfred, that's it. Sorry, my notes are super small. I didn't realise I had these bloody notes. That was so tiny. Holy shit. Anyway, so you've got Brian Becker, who plays Alfred, and Alfred is like this. I wouldn't even say awkward. He's just bizarre. Like he is just bizarre, and he just irritates the shit out of a lot of people there. The councillors are trying to be nice to him, but he's just doing dumbass shit that's getting himself into trouble. He's being a bit creepy as well, and he's not helping his case whatsoever. We've all had someone like that in high school, and to the point where I'm watching this movie and I wanted to smash him a few times. Like, I was just like, fuck. And I have, you know, been a victim of, you know, the casual bullying here and there in high school. But I was just looking at this guy going, holy shit, you are just painting a target on yourself. Like, what are you doing? So, of course, you know, guys like Glazer just want to pummel the shit out of this guy all the time, and the other young people are always either trying to say, hey, you know, get off Alfred's case, or they're trying to pull Alfred's side, going, dude, you can't do that, like blah blah blah. So after the 20th time this has happened, like within 50 minutes, you're just like, Alfred, can you just fuck off? Like, what do you know, just knock the prick out. Like, I feel like saying to Glazer, stand back, mate, hold my beer. Like, I'm just going to knock this fucker out myself. Like, because he was being really weird and just super annoying about a lot of stuff. So when the killer starts stalking him, I was just like, please, just hurry up. Like, he's over there behind the tree. Just fucking go for it. Like, he was really the only character you didn't like. You know, you struggled to like him. You're kind of like the other young people in this show, where you're kind of like, hey, mate, like, you know, probably don't want to do that. Like, after, like I said, 20 times, you're like, this guy's a fucktard. Like, he's just kick him in the fucking river. Like, he's giving me the shits. So he was the reason why I felt The Burning was a bit hard to watch, because every time he came on, he'd piss me off. Like, I could understand with Cropley. Like, I felt like the serial killer. I felt like Glazer. I felt like everyone that didn't like this guy. He just grated me something hard. Then you've got the other actors and actresses. So you've got Jason Alexander, good old Costanza himself, as a very young Costanza with hair. Very cool. If you close your eyes, it's Duckman. And so, yeah, just really funny. Not being sleazy with the girls, but kind of, yeah, he kind of wasn't holding back a few times, and being a bit sleazy, but like it was done in good fun as well. But yeah, he'd be pulled up quite a bit if he was around in nowadays. Holly Hunt plays Sophie. Fisher Stevens plays Woodstock. Fisher Stevens, you'd know him later as in Short Circuit. He plays a Indian gentleman or Pakistani gentleman. Not sure. Pretty decent brown face going on with that, which I don't think would kind of fly nowadays. But yes, there was also another movie he was in about a science project in high school, and for the life of me, I just cannot work out what this movie is. And it's like they go back in time, and it's like in their gymnasium turns into a freaking jungle. And it's like he thinks he's in Vietnam, and then there's like a dinosaur comes out. This is what I remember as a kid, like watching it. It's something about a high school project or something. He's in it. He's one of the guys. It's kind of like if Weird Science got smashed together and they had Weird Science and like a bit of Weird Science and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, kind of that. So I don't know if that happened before Bill and Ted, and I don't know if it happened after Bill and Ted, and this is kind of the cheaper version of that. But anyway, I distinctly remember him being in that. Brian Backer, like I said, is Alfred, the annoying twat. Ned Ensberg. I've seen Ed in other things like TV shows, and as an older guy now in his 50s. He plays Eddie. Larry Joshua plays Grazer, the big muscular jock bully. Brian Matthews plays Todd. He's kind of like the main counselor / young guy, kind of the cool counselor kind of thing. Leah Aries is Michelle. Caroline Hoonigan is Karen. Carrot Glenn is Sally. Then you got Shelley Bruce as Tiger, Bonnie Dorolski is Mari, Sarah Chadoff is Barbara, Kevy Kendall is Diane, Tom Savini did the practical effects for this one here, and Bruce Callagher was Rod, Willie Real was Paul, and J.R. McKinley is Fish. Like I said, quite a chunk of young cast in this. So, and for 50 minutes, you're building up, put bloody Nerdburger aside, that gives you the shits, but you're really starting to build this rapport with the girls, with the guys, how they intermingle. They're teenagers, they're awkward, the boys that, you're face palming with half the shit the boys are saying to the girls, because you're just like, why are you saying that? But at the same time, you think back to when you're 15, you're like, oh fuck, how embarrassing. And that's kind of makes it real. These are awkward teens on a summer camp. They're horny as, and they're just doing weird and wonderful shit. And in the back of this, in the campsite, so you got Camp Blackfoot is what it's called. And Camp Blackfoot, before this group of campers came in, there was a groundskeeper called Cropley, and Cromley or Crompley, and Cropsey. There you go. Anyway, and Cropsey was a bit of a prick, right? And he was the maintenance guy and the groundskeeper, and some kids get together, they pull a prank on him, and it goes wrong, and he catch fire, so hence the burning. And so long story short, he goes on a bit of a revenge. Those pesky teenagers, and so he starts picking kids off and all this kind of stuff. So that's what the general premise, without spoiling stuff, is about. I definitely don't want to get into stuff because I will spoil it, and that's what makes The Burning a phenomenal movie, when the shit hits the fan in the 49th minute mark. This is, so you're thinking, oh yeah, nerdy teen, oh Jesus, I can't believe he said that, oh fuck, that's a bit full on. you get to the 49-minute mark, you're like, oh fuck, like, and Cropsy comes out with the old schnippity schnips, and yeah, it's intense. There's one particular kill scene that it is known amongst the horror fan. I have never seen what outside of Cabin in the Woods, when the elevator doors open up and all the monsters come out and hit all those soldiers at the one time, and you're pressing the slow-mo button because you want to see how the fuck this goes down, and you see one guy is just standing there and a snake grabs one bit and he just goes flying into pieces all over the place. But if the only way to see this is in slow-mo because it's so quick that you literally blink and half the scene's gone and all this stuff has happened. In this scene, it's kind of like that. I've never seen a kill ratio happen in one whack like it did then in this scene in the burning. And it's quite shocking. You don't know where it's going to allude to. The music starts, you're thinking, oh, fuck, here we go, okay. And then it's just do, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, when I first saw the burning and this scene happen, my fucking jaw just hit the floor. I have never seen that spree being done before, and like how quick it was, how ruthless it was. It was just manic, well directed, well acted. Music was phenomenal. The scene was sensational. Like this, and it's made you scared, made you horrified. It grossed you out at the same time. It was a phenomenal scene, and I don't know, like I said, if there's been any other horror film that has just smacked you in the face with multiple fatalities in that period of time. Like outside of, like I said, with, Cabin in the Woods where all the monsters come out. Wow. Like, and then it is just fucking business time after that with Cropsy, and he's just like, these kids are gotta go. Like, I am pissed off. Like, yeah. The practical effects for Cropsy, how he looks when you see him, and Tom loves this movie. This is his pride and joy. Like he's not shy in saying it, and I can see why. He did a phenomenal job creating a character outside of your standard, and I say that respectfully, Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees. You've got these new characters now. You've got Cropsy's not new, but you've got Hatchet. Crowley, Victor Crowley. Is another thing that comes to mind. Like these are the horror figures that kind of stand to the side, outside your main king hitters that everyone thinks of when they think of a horror film. Like I said, Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger, etc., etc. Then you've got this second group of horror villains and their own unique looks. So you've got Cropsy, you've got Victor Crowley, and that kind of stuff. And so the practical effect for this was phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. So long story, they're getting picked off. That's getting business time, gets to right to the end. There's a big showdown, right? And the showdown is really quite tense, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of Razorback, because the guy, I'm not going to say who it is. That's the kind of final person. Really, the final person, they're essentially hunting Cropsy, but at the same time Cropsy's hunting them. So it's this, it's a really good ending, a very good suspenseful ending to a thing, and it's in like this mining warehouse, like a mining kind of in factory and that's what it reminded me a little bit of Razorback. So the guy's hunting the pig, and the pig's essentially hunting him as well through this butcher abattoir factory environment. And in this, it's the two characters hunting each other, like in this wine. So that was kind of cool. That's what it reminded me of. And then the ending occurred, and then there's this campfire, and it's the story. The story's being told again. So you're thinking, oh, here we go. So that's why I enjoyed the ending for The Burning. It was quite good. Moving on, so there's that recommendation there. Like I said, kind of hard to get it on DVD. If you can do a non-regional DVD player, you could get it from overseas and watch it that way and hold it as a Blu-ray or a DVD. Or, like I did, I watched it on YouTube. My advice to you, if you are watching it on YouTube, watch it on your phone, because it will come out clearer on the screen than it does on the YouTube. On a laptop, you'll probably get away with it. If you want to Chrome copy it and broadcast it on the TV, don't do it. You'll be rage quitting. It's so blurry. You won't even see what's going on, and it drives you nuts. So definitely do not do that. Check it out on your phone or your laptop. Would be the best way to go. Cool. So yeah, definitely a good one there. So moving on to Sleepaway Camp as well. So Sleepaway Camp has got the one and only Felissa Rose, and she plays Angela in this. And Sleepaway Camp it's the history I have with Sleepaway Camp is I've seen the poster as a kid, and I've seen the VHS illustration cover of this, which is the sneaker with the bowie knife going through it and the blood going down. And I always thought as a kid, ooh, like, what happened? Oh, that would hurt, kind of thing. And it always intrigued me what it was about. But because I was a little tacker, there was no way I was watching it. So, like I said, it took a few decades to happen before I watched it, and again I watched it in my late 20s, quite late to the party, because it was on my list for me to watch, but I'd get distracted with other horror films that were coming out at the time at my local DVD shop. So it just wasn't, you'd keep forgetting a bit of Dory, you keep forgetting, and so yeah. So eventually when I went, I'm going to watch it, and I sat down and watched it, and was impressed. Now the thing is, and I'm not sure and I know I'm not the only horror fan here, that Sleepaway Camp is the horror film where you have seen the end before you've seen the movie, because there's an iconic scene featuring Felissa Rose, and it is being referenced to the fucking teeth. Like this thing, it's on T-shirts, it's on poster stills, you name it. I think The Simpsons did a nod on it once. Everyone, someone's South Park. It's been nodded out a few times, and so yeah. When I sat down and watched this film, knowing that this scene was going to happen, right, but not knowing what it was. Because you're following Felissa Rose through this whole film, right? And you're thinking, okay, as far as you're concerned, she could be pulling that face because she stubbed her bloody toe on the side of the bed. You don't know why she's pulling that face or why that reference occurs. So you're watching this movie going, when's she going to do the face? So when I started watching this film, I was like, okay, and I was intrigued by the start. There's an accident that occurs involving children and a boat, and then you see Angela and a boy, and you think, okay, so it's, you don't think, it kind of, you're not paying attention to this particular, you are paying attention, but you're not paying attention to the characters in this scene. You've focused more on the auntie and Angela, kind of, so it gets, you kind of miss it, and that was done really well. So you're following Angela, and she goes to a camp, a summer camp, and she's there with, she meets other, she goes, I think, with her cousin or something, and meets other boys and girls her age. So you've got Jonathan Thurston, who plays Ricky, who's her kind of love interest, kind of crush. You've got Paul D'Angelo plays Ronnie. Karen Fields plays Judy. Judy, I think every girl that went to an all-girls school or anyone in high school would know a Judy. Like, holy, that's what I'm going to say. Like, we've all went to fucking high school with a Judy. Pamela Springsteen is Angela Barker. Christopher Collette is Paul. Catherine Canby is Meg. Thomas Wendell is Mike. John E. Dunn is Kenny. And Renee Estevez is Molly. And so then you've got, and these are the kids. Kids kind of early teens kind of kids. And then you got Desiree Gore as Aunt Martha, and Mike Killen, who is Mel Kostick, who's the camp boss, kind of owner of the Sleepaway Camp. So Sleepaway Camp, pretty much as it leads, there's a couple of murders throughout the show, but initially at the start, it's this kind of, you're building characters. You're getting to know people that you like. You're getting to know people that are the bullies. You get to know, the love interest for Angelica and the thing. Angelica doesn't speak at all. Like, and so instantly Judy gets her freaking bloody hairs up and just goes her. Is just unrelentless with the bullying. Like, and because she's so insecure and doesn't understand who Angelica is, she just fucking like a pit bull on a poodle. Like, it just through the whole movie. And it makes it a bit uncomfortable to watch because you're not partaking in the bullying, but you're watching it. And all coming out of high school, we've all seen bullying like this before. Right? I've seen bullying from adults like this before now. But like in high school, it is like you had that Angela kid, whether it was a boy or a girl, and you had that Judy bully, and it was fucking every day. Like, and you either watched it, you tried to stop it yourself, or you were too scared to stop it because you're thinking, well, they're going to turn their sights on me. So this is kind of, as the adult watching this, as the young adult watching this out of high school, it kind of brought back a lot of memories of high school for myself and what it's, bullying or trying to stop a bully or, whatever. So that was kind of a very realistic acting amongst the young teens at that time. And the director for portraying realistic bullying, really. So you've got the group of girls. Angelica kind of sleeps with these girls in their dorm, and they just all take turns and just, bullying the shit out of her. And at the same time, because Jonathan Thurston, so because of Ricky showing her interest, this has really got, Judy has got the shits on with this, and really goes to make sure that Angelica's life is made miserable as much as possible throughout this camp. And like I said, throughout there's interactions with adults, there's interactions with, creepy, kind of sleazy events amongst kids and adults in this camp, which doesn't end well, and ends in a couple of fatalities. And so the girls start getting picked off, and, the people that are nasty start getting picked off. So you're not really upset that they're getting killed because they're just such pieces of shit, like that you're just like, yeah, good, they got their comeuppance, good. So when it leads eventually to the end, it is quite a phenomenal ending for this, if you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, like I said, I'm not going to gatekeep here. I'm just going to tell you to watch it. It's a massive recommend. And this is why I don't go through and tell the whole, or kind of skirt over the whole film and give you the kind of gist of what the movie's about and why it's good. So when the reveal kind of happens at the end, you're not expecting it. And for the time, hands down, this has got to be the best plot twist, outside of Psycho. So pretty safe to spoil Psycho. When everyone went, fuck, it's old Bates himself, as dressing up as his mum, and the skeleton's in the rocking chair, and you're like, holy shit. And the reaction of the audience back when Psycho occurred, right? So that would have been the end, the plot twist that everyone's brain just melted when that happened. Then there was nothing, Sleepaway Camp. This was the ending that was literally outside of Psycho, that had everyone walk out the theatre going, what the fuck? Because it wasn't, you didn't see it. You didn't see it, and you didn't click or put two and two together to see it until when it happens, and then you're like, fuck. And that's why it immediately became a fan favourite amongst horror people, because it was so well done and phenomenal kind of stuff. But unfortunately, because of the year, and it did rock the world of a lot of horror fans, but it didn't rock the world of the general public watching the movie, and so of course it gets forgotten about, and then it becomes cult status, and then your horror kind of tragics like myself refer to it heavily or look at it fondly, and big fans of Felissa Rose because of it. So great movie, great horror camping film. It got me thinking about when I went on camps for school and stuff, and I'm thinking, wow, there's so many places that I went to that were, the Camp Arawak is the campsite in Sleepaway Camp, spelled Arawak. Or Iraq. I'm not going to get into it. The bloody dyslexia will have a short circuit. So yeah, we've been to a few campsites that were the one I remember was my year 8 camp, and that was a campsite, and directly behind it was a cornfield at Victor Harbour. The movie we chose to watch that night was Children of the Corn. Well played, PE teacher. In a group of 12 to 13-year-old boys. Oh yeah, what movie we're going to watch? The first night of the camping thing. I don't know. How about Children of the Corn? Holy shit. Did we fly out of that? I mean, I reckon, dead set, I did not waste any tread of my sneakers coming out of that bloody hall to run to my cabin, and it happened to be cabin 1, right at the fucking end, right near the bloody cornfield. I tell you, I was like, Jesus walked on water. I freaking flew over asphalt. I fucking legged it, something hard, out of that hall, straight into the dorm. All the other guys going, oh, look, Joe's scared. I didn't even give a shit. I was like, you know what, mate? I'm staying quiet. I'm turning the lights off, and I'm under the covers, and I'm not going to die because I'm going to lay quiet and still in the darkness. So if whatever monster comes out of the bloody cornfield is going to eat all the loud, annoying 12-year-old boys. So yeah, that it made me laugh. It made me have a good little bit of a memory of the year 8 camps. But you start to. This episode made me think of all the different school camps that I went on and camping as a kid, in a group, and you had your kind of weirdo Alfreds with you, and the kind of the Jocko bullies that kind of terrorized them and stuff like that. So, and I had some memories, and that was good. So, anyway, like I said, if you haven't seen these movies, if you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp or The Burning, I definitely recommend them. And yeah, enjoy. You will like them. That's no doubt about it. And yeah, so cool. So that's this episode for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, apologies for the almost 6-week hiatus between the episodes. Remember that I do a Spotify and the podcast episodes of Adelaide Horror Podcast. I kind of go into a bit more depth. So there may be a bit of spoiler here and a spoiler there with that. So you've been kind of pre-warned. But I'll do a more in-depth talk about the movies on the podcast that you can listen to. So visually, this is more of a skimmo and a high recommend for the 3 movies or the shows, and then the more in depth would be on the podcast. So you're more than invited to come and have a good listen to that. But yeah, just be warned, there'll be a bit more spoilery stuff on the podcast on that one. Cool. So anyway, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your Easter break. Like I said, shooting this on Easter Saturday, so this will be up, I think, Easter Monday. I'll release it. So by then, everyone would have enjoyed a good Easter Sunday and a good catch up with family and friends. Good couple of beers, some chocolate eggs. Hope your footy team got up, and all good. So cool. So this is Zombie Joe signing out. I'll see you in the crypt, and I'll see you next episode. Bye for now.